What's up, everyone? How are you doing today on this Wednesday? We have our segment of Will's Wednesday today. Real quick. What's up, Car?
What's going on?
Nice for you to join us this podcast. Obviously could not make last one. So you just had a clutch hatch out real quick before we get Will out here.
Yep.
You just had a clutch hatch out real quick. We now do the Morph ID Wednesday. So next Wednesday that will be going on. You want to try to ID this clutch on that podcast a little bit too?
Yeah, why not? That'd be a good one.
That'd be a good
I
one.
have a solid idea of what they are. So
yeah, for sure. So that will be next Wednesday, and of course we'll also have the 6 pitchers and the bonus pitcher. We're gonna do it a little bit easier this time. I want someone to guess the bonus pitcher. Get correct. So hope you guys are paying attention to these podcasts because a lot of the clues may be in those podcasts. So without further ado, before we do the Will's Wednesday, let's do the recap of last week.
Or so. I'm just using this one for demonstration because then we'll also go over some other stuff, some of the stuff that'll be coming up in the future. We'll ask for feedback and ideas. If you have something that you want to know more about, put it in the comments.
Or is it pretty?
As far as I've seen.
What's up, Will? How you doing this Wednesday? Surprise, surprise. Will had no idea I made that.
No idea you made that? Yeah. No, I didn't.
Near Dakar, actually.
I didn't. That was a
that was a nice little surprise. That was a nice surprise little intro I did there for him. All right. So without further ado, the show is yours, Will.
All right. We're back. We're going to do over what you need for a show, to vend a show. Bare minimum, and then what makes your life a little bit easier. So let's start. That made it worse. All right. So we're going to start with some sort of a container, deli cup, for your animals, or a display if you have a display. I just didn't have room to bring out the big display. You can write on it with paint marker. You can use labels or a chalk marker, same as the paint marker, just wipes off a little easier. Those won't go in there. Snake bags or just the tubs. If you're using a display, you need something to send them home in. So either snake bags of appropriate size or, again, deli cups of appropriate size. If you're an LLC and you're keeping receipts and stuff, you need like receipt books. A clipboard is handy to keep pens, markers, anything else.
I mean, technically, really, you should have that anyhow. You should be keeping track of your sales, reporting it.
True.
Like I have multiple different receipts books for different things, like table fees is in the one is on the front. Snake sales is in one. And because I sell cocoa for Glenn, I have one for the cocoa. So 3 different receipt books. If you're doing multiple shows a year, like we do, we're 28 already this year. A calendar book with all your show dates in it. So that way, when they come around asking if you're going to be back next week, like I said,
or next month.
Yeah, next month. Keep pens, chalk or paint markers, chalk markers, Sharpie markers, just stuff like if you have cards for US Arc. I try to keep Tylenol packets in here.
I've used those quite a few times.
Yes, he does. Notebooks for writing stuff down. I keep, like, I looked up for our area for the state of Ohio. I looked up all the sales tax rates. So I keep that in here as well in a folder. Oh, that's not the button I want. Turn that off. That's better. Like as my business license, I keep a copy of that in here in case somebody needs it for some reason. And then vendor's license, a copy of that. Your sales, a sales tax percentage, highlighted the counties that we've been in. Like this just makes your life a little bit easier if you're charging sales tax and giving it to the customer. If you don't, you can leave that at home and do it when you get back. But a clipboard, this is something that makes your life a little bit easier because it keeps everything a little more organized for you.
Yeah, especially that type of clipboard. It was game changer for us.
Yeah, this is one.
Yeah, one with the storage compartments.
Yeah, yeah, the one that you can open up in the middle and stuff.
Yeah,
yeah, that's what I use for work.
Yeah, that is such a game changer.
And then all of this stuff except for the animal totes, these 27-gallon Rubbermaid or whatever, whoever makes these are Project Source. I think I got these from Lowe's.
You guys have any questions too for Will? Shoot them in the comment, guys. Don't be scared.
So this is all stuff I just keep in there. And when we get back, this packs up. We go to the shows, unpack what we need out of it. When we leave the shows, we pack it all back up in here. When I bring it home, it stays in this tote. It doesn't get used on something else, so we don't forget it. It stays in this tote. Everything that I'm showing you stays in the tote. And it's only used for the shows. If it's winter and you're using heat, you can either go heat tape or a heat mat. These do not go in there because I don't take them all the time. But if you're using the heat mat and the heat tape, you need a thermostat. I want to say this one was $20 on Amazon.
You don't need anything fancy.
You're going to be there constantly with the snakes. You're going to notice something going bad. So you don't necessarily need a Herpstat or a vivarium. They're expensive. This is $20 and it'll do the job for what you need. This right here.
Game changer.
Game changer. If you're using a display or a light or, you're charging your phone, you're charging your card swiper or something like that. Game changer. It's on a reel. I believe it was a 75-foot one. But it has 2 USBs in it and 4 plugs. That should be enough for anybody because both me and Glenn use just one of these. And if worst comes to worst, you can always bring a power strip too, and then it'll give you a little bit more because now with us streaming live at the expos and stuff, we need like one more plug or whatever. So sometimes we just do that. Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to say.
Yeah,
you can bring a power strip. I don't know where mine went. I lost it, so I got to go get another one. I bring reptile spray for mites. We spray the tablecloth at some of the shows because some of the vendors are not the cleanest.
It's just a nice safety precaution too.
It's a safety precaution. Not a necessity, but peace of mind for you when you get home.
Definitely recommended.
Yeah.
Lots of paper towels. I take some sort of a cleaner. This is diluted chlorhexidine. So that'll help clean up. Like if one goes in one goes to the bathroom and your cups or your displays, it'll help take the smell away almost instantly. It'll clean it. It's an antibacterial, so it's going to clean up any of that stuff. That stays in there. I have 2 of them. I have one here, and then I have one that I keep here. So this stays in there constantly. That would be, if I had one thing, that's what I would say. Build you a box that has everything you need in it, and leave it in it. That way, when you go to a show, all you got to do is grab that box, load it in the vehicle, and you're good. Another thing, doesn't cost but like $4 or $5 for a big bottle of hand sanitizer like this, or the one with Halo. This is the one that goes in. That's been in the box. This is just a regular one. Same thing. Once again, it just goes in there and stays in there. Not a necessity, but I take an extra shirt in case I have a snake out and it goes to the bathroom on me. That way you're not smelling like snake piss or poop or anything like that. They're all day. You have a change that you can get out of it. One of those always stays in there.
And it has happened.
It has.
Oh yeah.
Especially like if I take some of the bigger snakes, if I take a berm just to show off, you never know when they're going to go to the bathroom. And then again, more snake bags of different sizes. Can never have too many.
Mat to stand on. Yeah, definitely 100%. Unless you forget it, get it.
Yeah.
Dayton.
I was getting there. Like me.
Those little gel mats.
Well, the anti-fatigue mats. If you have any stickers or business cards, like I keep some stickers in here. I get a shoebox tote. I took the label off this one. I think there's 6 quart totes, I think is what they are. I took the label off of that one too. The same size as what I use for my incubator, or taking my bigger snakes, my bigger ball pythons to shows in. It's just a good all-around size. Tape, always good to have some tape. Especially if you're using the bigger deli cups, the bigger snakes pop those lids off real easy sometimes. Again, tape. And this right here, I don't know. It looks like cheese. Everybody thinks it's cheese. It's what it actually is a hot shot pest strip, cut up into little pieces, put in a 2 ounce side cup that I drilled a couple little holes around it. Again, for mites and fruit flies, it keeps them away. They'll get in there and it'll kill them, so they don't get into your animals. Keep some of those.
Game changer.
Not a must, but again, that's one of those. Once you start doing some shows, you'll understand it's one that you're going to want to keep. Again, if you're using displays, make sure you have your keys. Keep 2 sets in there, and then I got a set that stays in with the displays constantly. That way, if for some reason I lose that one somehow, it stays in the display. It's a Ziploc bag with all the 6 screws and 6 washers for our personal displays, the ones we use, and the power plug for it, and that 1 set of keys on a little wrist lanyard. That's a game changer. That way you ain't digging in your pocket constantly to get the keys out. If someone wants to see a snake, it's on your wrist. And when it's slow, it gives you something to play with. Okay. But that's that. And once you get in more and more shows, and if you have a display that's in a tub like this, or even the ARS or the Next Level or some of the other ones that are they come in a case, get a dolly, like a 2-wheel dolly that folds down flat and has and then becomes like a cart. That is a game changer there as well. Not a must, but otherwise you're carrying everything in by hand. That you can stack stuff on. And generally it only takes us like 2, maybe 3 trips. That's including the coconut.
And I tell you what, we got the time today. Well, why don't you go over the animal plastics display case that we use? Just bust it out. You might as well. I mean, we got. Might as well. Let's see it.
Yeah, you'll have to give me a second to get it.
That's fine. We got you.
I gotta get this back out of the room because I ain't got much room in here. So, but yeah, then you just, like I said, everything goes in. It goes in this tote. And it's set and ready to go.
All right. While Will does that real quick, I think I'm going to this is a perfect time to release the very first new commercial that we did. What do you think, Car?
Let's hear it. Let's see
You want
it.
to see it? You want to see it? So we did, I said we were gonna start updating commercials and stuff. So lo and behold, we did just that. First one I was gonna say, it's not really a commercial. I mean, it is, but it's a little highlight reel. If you guys know, me and Will are now doing the live at the expos, so check that out. Here's some highlights of us at the expos. This is all live footage. Like you can't get any more real than this at expos.
We got Will. What up, Will? So that was fun. Will about drowned.
Got out in the Walmart parking lot. The water was up over my ankles.
Shit. So we're just going over vendors and stuff. You can look right at it. It's pretty dope.
All right, I think Will's ready.
My head's gonna be cut off, but yeah, it's still gonna be cut
Man,
off.
squat.
Went back with the 27-gallon totes from Lowe's or Walmart or whatever. It's the 27-gallon. This is my display because ours don't come. The animal plastics don't come with a display, but I keep in there the tablecloth.
They don't come with a case, not a display.
Well, yeah, the case. My bad. I'm not feeling the greatest, so. Well, you take your tablecloth. This one's for an 8-foot table. That's in there. The bag I was talking about.
Bag of hardware.
All the screws, the power. The only display case I know of that you can actually get your name and lights for. The side panels.
And where would you find this display case if someone wanted to buy one?
Animal plastics.
Yeah, Animal Plastics.
Not sponsored. It'd be great if we were.
Hell yeah, send a sponsor.
This one I modified a little bit to put heat on, but I'm gonna have to fix it. That's that 3-inch heat tape again, and I have them so they'll pop apart, so you can take each one apart. Some of the ends have popped out, so I got to redo it. This is weird to do this way.
So what are the pros and cons of this display case?
In my opinion, obviously, everybody has their own. The pros are each compartment is individually lit, which you'll see here in a second.
The cons are obviously you got to put it together. Kind of.
Yeah, you see the con right now.
But it's really not that hard because we usually leave the middle one unscrewed.
I'm not screwing the middle one in this time. So
yeah, I don't ever do it.
So how many screws go in there?
If you put them all in, it's 6, 3 on each side, 1 per level.
Oh, okay.
Really easy.
Yeah, that's not bad.
If you put them in the actual sign with your name on it, if you get that, it's 2 more. I don't recommend that because then you're in and out, and you're going to break that off real quick.
I don't even use mine. I'd never screwed that in. It just slides right in anyhow. A lot of times, like kids aren't going to be that high. It's usually going to be that front one that they're going to sit there and smack and stuff. Which,
and if you don't have the heat things on here, this goes together a lot easier.
Damn crotch goblins.
And if I can get away with it, I'm only going to put those 2 bottom screws in. Whoops.
Oh, what the heck?
Damn.
You just witnessed that live, guys. That's definitely going to the highlight reel.
What, I'm putting it together to show people?
Yes,
There ain't no snakes in them.
I know.
That-
You didn't. Where'd that fall at? It didn't fall on the ground, did it?
no, it's just laying on the table.
Oh, I thought the thing fell completely on the ground. I was like, "Dad, you just break that?"
No.
Like, it was funny. I mean, it wasn't funny, but it was at the same point. You were like, "I'm not gonna screw these in. I hope it doesn't fall." And then it falls.
Right?
That's the way it works.
Yep.
This is kind of hard to do from this side. Okay. Boom.
Bam.
Let's not do it again.
Yeah, that looks legit.
Keys everywhere. They give you like 2 keys per lock. So depending on whether you've got, like, this is the 5x3, they make it in a 4x3, 2x3, 3x3, and 1x3, and they all fit inside this same area. So if you have a 5x3 and a 3x3, you can put a 3 up here on both sides.
Yeah.
And then a 5 at the bottom if you want, or in the middle, or if you get a 5, 4, and a 3, you have all of them. You can do a 5, 4, and 3 on both of them. But the pros, I would say, all individually locked. So they're all individual cylinder locks. The glass, the acrylic slides towards you on the back, not out. They're all individually lit, and you can get your name put on it. The cons, obviously, the 3 sets of screws and no case. But again, everything fits perfectly in the 27-gallon tote from your local store that you can buy those type of things from. So I have in here, I put, all this is indoor outdoor carpet cut down. I got some of these. Glenn ordered some of these. They're just Repdizord pads. These are actually designed for the ARS. So they're a little bit big to go in here, but you just fold up in the back. You stick them in the bottom. That'll absorb any contaminant that the snake drops. I just put green in there because I thought it would look cool. But yeah, and that's how long it takes to set up. The only thing I would do is put 2 more screws in this one, and then I'd be done.
Oh, yeah.
But being individually lit from the inside, not above, you don't get a glare. Let's see. I'm gonna unplug this real quick. When you're looking down, I don't know if it shows, but there's like no glare.
Get closer. Yeah.
Compared to if you had a light, above it, and you're trying to look in there, you're getting a bunch of glare.
Right.
That's a big pro right there in itself.
That was a great example.
Mm-hmm.
You could definitely see that, like in that example that you just did. Like, yeah.
100%.
And he's talking about mainly about the ARS ones, or no, the next level ones where the lights pop out over them.
And the ARS.
Yeah, the ARS too. ARS doesn't come with lights. I think you got to buy them separately or something like that.
You do. And then on that note, seeing how we're talking about purchasing, that display, the way it sits right now, $485 shipped to your door. ARS before shipping is $4.99, and it doesn't come with lights. Doesn't come with your name placard. It comes with a case, and and they just stack on the case instead of being screwed together.
Right.
And the next levels are
Those are ridiculous.
$12.99 a piece, but those come with heat in them and a power strip in the back, or they used to. I don't know if they still do. And they might have an option, because I've seen some without it in the back. Nothing on the back. It's just the light and the display. But you still have that light that's coming down, like I showed with this one, where it puts that glare. And if you've ever been to any reptile expos, especially like Tinley Park or NARBC Dallas, any of the bigger shows, a lot of people have those type of displays that have the light over top of them. And by the end of the day, your eyes hurt from trying to see through all that just to see the snakes. This way, you don't get, it's all individually lit. And if you get the white nameplate, that thing's bright.
Oh, so you can get that in different colors then?
You can get them in red, blue, and white.
Okay. America.
Yep, that's the red. It looks orange on the screen. I don't know.
No, it looks red. Well,
Does
kind
it?
of orange.
On my screen, it looks orange.
Oh, okay.
But
yeah, it
just
probably looks
that,
a little darker.
these lights are always going to be white, as far as I know. I don't think they give you an option to have these a different color. I don't know why you'd want them a different color.
So when you guys purchase them, how long do you have to wait to get it?
It depends.
Right.
Just like anything else, depends on the influx of ordering.
Right.
Or
So
if the
it's
guy
changing throughout the
guy
year.
that's building them breaks his hand, so production slows down. But I think Glenn, yours was what, a month and a half?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the last one he ordered. The first ones we ordered were over that, but that's when the guy broke his hand.
Oh, okay.
So they're a month and a half, just about. I mean, I don't know. I've never looked to see what the shipping time on ARS is. So
Yeah, that varies throughout the
you
year.
look at this, the way it's shipped with your name on it, and all that lit, everything shipped is cheaper than what you can get just the case and display from ARS before shipping. So
there you go. Animal Plastics sponsor.
Animal Plastics, in my opinion, best one on the market for the price.
Yeah.
Ease of use or ease of setup, it's probably the hardest, but it's 3 screws on each side. And if you want to cheat like we do, you just don't put the screws in this middle one.
Well, yeah, because it's still secured on the top and the bottom.
Yeah. If you have a screw on both sides on the bottom and the top, it adds a little bit more stability, but it's not necessarily 90% of the time. I don't have this one screwed in.
Right.
And I do that because when people ask, I can pull it out and show the bottom of it, what the bottom of it looks like, and I can show them how I put the heat tape on it. And if you put the 3-inch heat tape, you do not need a thermostat. I had it set up on my living room floor for 2 hours, and it never got above like 70 or 78 degrees, I think it was.
Oh, geez.
Do you have a picture of our setup? Because that's what I was looking for. I was trying to upload it on StreamYard to my phone, but I was going through the live. I didn't even realize it. It didn't work out too well.
I do. If you get that intro picture or flyer, it's on there.
Is it?
Yeah, it's the back.
Oh yeah, that's right. I had to pull it up sometime.
Let's see if I can find it real quick.
Let's see if you have it on your phone real quick. I would definitely say too, like with our experiences with expos, to just go for it. Like, just go for it. Just do it.
Bare minimum is you need something to hold the animal in and a tablecloth. It doesn't have to be a fancy one, just something to cover the table, because a lot of the places require that you have a tablecloth.
Yep. We started off with a plastic tablecloth and some deli cups, and that was it. No business cards, nothing. And now
nice.
I'll tilt it down. You got to go up, bring it in. There you go. Oh. But yeah, you kind of get the general idea.
Yeah.
If I tilt that down a little bit.
There you go.
My screen's going dark. Now I'm getting messages from. Oh,
Yeah, just go on his Instagram or my Instagram and check it out too.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
And it's a
but
legit
they'll be
stuff.
on our Instagrams if you want to see it a little bit better and more detail. It's up on there. But yeah,
So where'd you get the background sign at?
I don't remember what's it. Fabricsignguys.com.
Yeah, it was Fabric Sign Guys.
And the table costs are what table covers now.
Tablecoversnow.com, I believe it was.
Hmm.
Get the premium spandex type that's heavier. So all right, real quick.
How big does that fit? How big of a table does that fit?
You can get them for 6 and 8, and I might be able to get them for a 4, but I wouldn't vendor show that does a 4-foot table. So
I wouldn't either. There ain't no way. 6 is bad enough.
So yeah, 6 is bad enough. If you have any amount of snakes, like 6 is small.
Right.
It's a small table that will fit over a 6. That cover will fit over the 6. Obviously, if it fits an 8, it fits tight to an 8. So it's like tight across the top, and the corners fit into the corners.
Mm-hmm.
Drapes down just to the floor. If you put it over a 6, you kind of got to center it, and they're the same width. So front to back, the seams will match, but on the ends, it'll be hanging over and into the floor more.
Oh, gotcha.
Because we do the Sin City show, and they're 6-foot tables, and
That's tight.
it's yeah.
We got to pretty much take the Coco and like split a table like with our display. Like it's a pain.
Yeah.
We got to put the Coco in the middle of us, have the display cases like kind of like on the outside, and then more Coco on the outside of us. Like it's tight.
Yeah, and that just happens to be our most expensive show. Well, one of we do another one that's the same price, but it's a 2-day show for the same price, and it has 8-foot tables. So,
all right, real quick, we're gonna take one more commercial break. We're gonna show the new one.
Instead of just euthanizing these animals, there are people that really want them. There's zoos, there's places. I could have made calls and had them out of the state by more.
Apparently, the state of Washington is trying to take away the ability for people to teach kids in the next generation about animals.
Everybody contacted the legislators. That bill did not meet the deadline, so that bill is actually going to die. So,
And we're back.
I'm back.
And we're back. All right. How much would you say an expo generally costs?
As for like, if you already have all of this stuff, just to vend it.
Yeah, I would just say just to vend it. Let's say you're going to go vend for a week and give people the general idea of how much it's going to cost them to vend that show.
If you're doing a 1-day show, most of the time they're between 30 and 40 per table. So you say if you're just starting out, you're probably not going to need more than one table. So you say $40 there, and then whatever gas. I can't really give you on that because I don't know how far you're going to travel. You factor in the gas that it takes you, how much gas it takes in whatever vehicle you have. Like if you got a Prius, you're going to spend less on gas because it doesn't use a whole lot, versus where we have the GMC Envoy, and I have a Dodge Ram 1500, so that they don't get the greatest gas mileage. So it's going to cost a little bit more if you have those type of vehicles.
And when you load them with Coco on top of it,
you put 2,000 extra pounds of Coco in there. That's not including your snakes.
Oh, it's not that much. It's like extra. It's like extra 250, 300 pounds. You still feel it. No, you pay about 30 blocks.
Well, 30 blocks would be
high, though.
300 pounds. If you put 30 blocks in your Envoy, it's an extra 300 pounds or 10 pounds each.
That's still my gas mileage.
That drastically decreases your gas mileage either way. But so then you've got that cost. If you're doing say a 2-day show, then you got a hotel cost if you don't live close to it. The food, drink while you're there. And then at night when you're done with the show, unless you're just going to go back to the hotel and go to sleep, then you've got all the cost of whatever you go out to do, gas to go see sites if you're just going to go drive out somewhere and see some stuff. It's really hard to put a number on it, but I'd say on a average weekend, I'd say probably $200 to $400 for us.
No, that's high. I had it figured out that
I'm including gas and everything, though.
Well, I had it figured out when we were sharing a ride, like when we would split costs. It was about $100 a piece.
Yeah, between $200 and $400.
Yeah, between for 2 tables, the gas, and that was about it. It was about 200 or so. It's really not. But I think it's kind of high, honestly.
If you're driving, like when we do Columbus, though, you did factor in the hotel room.
Oh yeah, I did.
Our show, the shows that we go to on a 1-day show, it costs me $70-some to fill up my tank and gas. That's $100 right off the rip.
I don't go through that much gas. You probably go through a little bit more than I don't know.
Bigger vehicle.
Yeah, true.
So like when I fill up my tank from empty, it costs about $70-$75, depending on what gas prices actually are at the time. So you're figuring, say even on the low end, that's $70 just for gas. Now I have some of that, so it's probably I won't burn all of that. Like when we went to Columbus, I made it down and back in 3/4 of a tank. But I didn't do a lot. I didn't do a lot of driving down there. You did most of that. So I still would have probably made it down and back if I was driving my truck everywhere, which I did drive a truck a lot. But
yeah,
you figure $70 for that. The table fees are $50 for the 2 days. That's
he probably got like $150 in a show. I say 1-day show, you're probably about 100, 120. 2-day show, you're probably around $200 range or so.
Yeah. Well, I was going high, 200 to 400.
Yeah.
High 200 high for a 1-day, 400. You just doubled for a 2-day show, or a 3-day. Columbus technically was a 3-day.
We were down there all weekend.
Yeah, because we got down there. I got down there at noon on Friday because I thought we couldn't get in till noon. And then so we had Friday night. We had a hotel for 2 days. Suggest getting a decent hotel, not some cheap stuff. We get a suite,
but anyhow, so back to the expo stuff. So what else should you bring? We cover it all?
Like Carr said, your anti-fatigue mats.
Oh, yep.
Coolers for drinks and snacks. It
does help because a lot of times it's like the concessions is like $3 a pop.
Yeah, and if you're doing a 2-day show, you want a big cooler to put food in, like lunch meat and snack meat trays, your meat and cheese and cracker trays. You can put those in the cooler, bring another little one for drinks if you want. That's what we do. That way you're not spending $3 for a bottle of Mountain Dew or Pepsi or Coke or whatever it happens to be. You bring cans, they're cheaper. Then you can bring your food so you have stuff to snack on at the show. So you're not sitting there being hangry.
Right.
Probably stuff that I've overlooked just because it's so second nature anymore.
A screwdriver.
If you have this style and you got to put it together. Don't bring a chair because you don't need to be sitting down.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, well, that's where I was working into that because you said what we were going to do. Don't be sitting down doing this on your phone. You need to be up engaging with any and everybody that walks by your table. You never know. I made a sale not this past Columbus, but the one in November, just because the guy was walking by and I said, "Hey, how you doing?" and he came over to the table. And I ended up selling a snake to him. He was going to walk right by without saying anything, stopping and looking, nothing. If I'd have been sitting there playing on my phone, I'd have never seen him. And I would have been out. Granted, it was a lower end snake, but it's still a sale, and it's a customer. Don't be sitting on your phone. Don't be sitting down. If you guys watched our Columbus, not at one time did you ever see any of us either one of us sitting down.
I mean, towards the end, kind of. At that point, we were just
on Sunday,
Yeah.
you can kind of gauge, but you can also use your cooler for that. You don't need you don't need to bring
No.
this big director chair, this type of chair that I'm sitting in. You don't need to bring anything as far as a chair. Most of the expos will supply chairs if you need them, if you would like them. Now, obviously, if you have a medical condition where you have to sit down, that's a different story. We're not talking about that. If you are able-bodied and can stand up, stand up. Especially if a customer comes up to you, as walking up to your table or walking by your table, stand up, say hello, ask them how they're doing. Granted, trust me, I understand it's hard. You can ask Glenn. I am not a people-y person. I've gotten a lot better, but you stand up and you say hello. Someone comes up to you and you're sitting down. Like if I walk up to the table and the guy's sitting down and doesn't say a word to me within the first, I give him 5 to 10 seconds, doesn't say anything, doesn't attempt to get up, I'm walking away. I'm not buying anything from that person. They don't want to make a sale. They don't want to engage with the customer. Obviously, they don't like what they're doing.
Or unless you hold an animal.
Yeah, or again, and where that was at, that's surprising. Like that well, instantly.
That's a whole.
I have to hold an animal. It probably means I'm going to buy it, or I want to buy it. And you tell me you're going to hold it. I don't get to touch it.
Yeah, so that's okay. So
I'm walking away. I'm not even going to say bye. I'm just walking away.
Okay, so this is going to be a topic. Okay, if a customer comes up to you and asks, "Hey, can my kid or daughter or you?" A lot of times, if you can get that animal in their hand, they probably going to impulse buy it.
Yeah.
Now, unless it's going to be an absolutely no, and you just know that the kid wants to hold a snake, that's a different story. But someone's actually looking at it, even if they're like, here, you want to hold it, you just grab it and put it in their hands.
Exactly.
Now that's a game changer.
Yep, exactly.
Yep.
But
true.
like I said, though, if you're coming up at one of the bigger shows as a buyer and you say, hey, can I hold the snake? Can I see that snake? And someone tells you, I can get it out, I'll hold it due to biosecurity reasons, I'm walking away. It's happened.
Yep.
Generally, if you're at those shows, you're there because one of two things: you're a breeder or you're a very, very hobby enthused person, and you're looking for the best animals there are. If someone's saying, hey, I want to look at that animal before I buy it, they don't want you to hold it. They want to hold it because you can feel stuff about that snake by being in your hands that you may not be able to see. It's that's just my 2 cents on that. Like, no, I'm walking away. If you can't acknowledge me when I walk up to your table, I'm not going to buy anything from you. I'll find it from somebody else that wants to engage and wants to sell that animal.
Definitely.
But just the stuff, etiquette, like be courteous. Like if you're a vendor and some of these shows you're really tight, be courteous. Don't try to take up more room than what should be allotted to you. Like if the tables are back to back, don't go past the halfway point in the back. Give them the room that is half of whatever.
Oh yeah, 100%. If you go back in the Expo of Columbus, you can see the very little room that we were working with.
Yeah, and that
was because we were being polite too, and making sure that people had their room. So,
and there was a lot of room between those tables. There's some of the shows we do, there's barely 6 foot between the two tables.
Jeez.
Yeah, it can be tight.
That's tight.
So,
because they're trying to cram tables in and make money, which I get. But also, you need to give your vendors room as well as your customers. that
I wouldn't
as a show promoter, anyways.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say like sit there and make fun of other vendors or anything like that.
No, definitely not.
Like, definitely don't be doing that. Like, I've actually met a lot of cool people, even like different species. They do different things. A lot of great friendship. So make sure you get out. Like, we always try to. I don't know. Well, what's your tip before the show? Like, what to do?
I like to get in as early as we can, feasibly. Like, I don't want to be leaving my house at 4:30 in the morning to be there by 8. Because they open at 8. But if we can get there before 9, that would be great. Because most shows start at 10. I get in. We get between us now. We can generally get both tables set up with Coco displays, all that stuff, banners, in less than a half hour.
20 minutes.
Yeah, like I give it a half hour as long because we've been doing it enough now that we come in, we bring all the table supplies in first, drop all that off. I start putting the tables together, the banners, the tablecloths, the displays, while he goes back out and gets the coconut on the dollar.
Car. Yep.
On the car. And usually by the time he gets back, one of the tables is completely set up and I'm already started on the other one. So he can start doing that on that one. And then once we get done with the setup, we like to walk around and see what's there. See who is there. We've become I maybe not great friends, but we've become friends and acquaintances with a lot of the people because we've been in the same shows constantly, back and forth. So we know each other. We talk to each other. We've got their Facebooks. We got Instagram. You follow their Instagrams. Then they'll generally follow you back. Like you grow your Instagram, your YouTube, stuff like that. You also know what's in the show. So if someone comes to your table and you sell ball pythons and they say, I'm looking for a carpet python, you can go, hey, this guy over here had really nice looking stuff. Check him out. Or I haven't seen any, I'm not telling you there's not, but I didn't see any when we got here, when we did our walk around. It just gives you a feel of what's in there and you can look and see what people have morphs on whatever you're selling and what they're priced at. Because if you have something, say a ball python, you've got a pied priced at $700 and everybody else in there has got the same pied for $250. Obviously, you're not going to sell yours at $750 before they sell theirs at $250. Generally, you do have loyal customers that will come to you and pay that, but you don't really want to be $500 apart from everybody else. And doing your walk around, you can see that, and you can see just what's in there and who's there in your network. You get your name out to other people, and they start knowing you. So when you start producing some of your higher end stuff, they know, hey, this guy's working this. I want to get into it. Glenn's real good at that.
Hey, what's up, man? We're doing good. We got Morph ID Wednesday, next Wednesday. Don't forget to tune into that. And a lot of good feedback off that first episode that we did, actually. That was a lot of fun. And I think we're going to bust out some of Car's clutch and ID them a little bit too.
So we're doing one the 3rd.
Yes, it's going to be the 3rd. We're going to do one that 3rd, and then that whole entire one, like that Friday is technically we're supposed to do the Morphing Around podcast, but we are not because of the holiday. We're all going to take a break. Kosher, everyone sit back, enjoy the holidays. It's what it's there for. And then when we come back that following Friday, we'll be doing it'd be a Will's Wednesday, and then we get into Kittner's podcast with Jason and Holly. Will be that Friday. So that's the schedule right now.
I was just making sure because I know you said we weren't doing anything that week. So
yeah, we're not doing third. The 3rd will be the last podcast until that following Wednesday.
I think it's the 12th.
So the Wednesdays stay on track. So Morph ID next Wednesday.
So we'll have the Morph ID on the 3rd.
Yep.
And then Will's Wednesday will be the 10th.
Yep.
And the podcast will be on the 12th.
Yep.
Bye.
Okay.
Just
And then
so everybody knows. I just wanted to make sure because you said something about not doing anything that week, so I wanted to make sure.
no, we're not doing no expos, nothing scheduled that week. So
Yeah.
Anything else that we need?
Does anybody have any questions?
Any questions, real quick? Any questions, real quick, in the chats?
I was gonna say, do you want to know? Ask like, is this acceptable? Bring stuff like that. Like, if you have anything, ask it.
Is
I'm
it
sure-
work?
I'm
Even
sure we forgot something because again, like I said, it's getting to second nature where, like I said, if you have your stuff packed up when you go and you just go and set up, it stays in those tubs all the time, and unless it's out on the table at a show, then when we're done, we pack up. It goes back in the totes, and I just wheel it in here and leave it on the cart into my living room.
expos are definitely worth it. It's hard work. Don't get
Yeah.
discouraged if you don't sell anything. There's months that Will doesn't sell stuff and I do, and vice versa.
Yeah, but I think I went 7 or 8 shows, and then the 9th show I sold 2 snakes.
Yep. So I mean,
And then he just went probably 6, 7, 8 shows, and then just sold a snake
yeah,
as well. So this time of year is hard to sell stuff because one, you're usually low on stock inventory because everything's laying and hatching right now. So it's not ready to go to shows. So you're going to be low. So it's going to be, if people are looking for certain things like pies or clowns or, that type of stuff, everybody's going to be low on stock usually by this time of year. So don't get discouraged. Generally,
well, I got a question for you. What have you noticed weather-wise or holiday-wise or around what holidays not to go to or to go to?
Pretty much any major federal holiday where you guys are, wherever they're off in the summertime, it's going to be dead. It's like this Memorial Day. I would not suggest planning any.
What up, Bob?
Memorial Day was horrible this year. Both shows, we drove probably 11 hours over the weekend total there and back for the 2 different shows, and didn't sell a thing.
It was so dead too. So
dead.
We left an hour and a half early to make the 3-hour drive back home.
Yeah.
I'll never ever do a Memorial Day show ever again.
Now, if you're just starting out and it's close, you got a 30-minute drive, do it.
Yeah, do it.
It. But if you're driving, like our closest show was an hour 10, depending.
Not even anymore. We got not even anymore, really.
Damn.
We're not even going to those shows anymore.
But I'm saying the closest show that we can do,
yeah,
is an hour from yours, an hour 15, hour 20 for mine. And I'm not driving that far on Memorial Day.
No.
The people there already know who we are, and the people that are going to buy from those shows probably aren't going to be there because Memorial Day opens the lake season up here. Lake season in Northwest Ohio is a big thing. People, they're just gone. They don't do anything but the whole week, like a week long at the lakes or just the weekends. And if they're on the weekends, if that's the only time they go up there, they're not coming to a reptile show. They're not coming to any show. They're going up to the lake to play on the water, to play cornhole, to get wasted, to get whatever, get away from reality for a little while. Can't blame them. You can't blame them for that. But so definitely Memorial Day, unless it's close and you're just starting, I would not suggest vending a more Memorial Day show unless you know that show is going to be packed because it is every year. Our occurrences, I don't know, can't think of the word I want to use there other than that. It doesn't pan out for us. We drive too far to sell nothing. It's a waste of a day. It's a waste of money because you get maybe 75 to 100 people through the door total.
Actually, a very hot day. We actually did really good.
I'm not saying anything about the heat.
Well, yeah. No, we're talking about holidays, but like weather-wise too.
Yeah, if it's really hot.
Surprisingly.
I was surprised. If it's really hot and the place that's holding the reptile show is air conditioned, you'll get a lot of foot traffic.
What about when it's raining?
That one I feel like it's hit or miss. Like if it's raining hard, probably not. I feel like those are much slower than if it's just kind of like a drizzle, just an overcast, drizzly, just dreary day. Those I feel like have been some of the best days.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of warm, but it's too wet to be outside and doing anything, but it's not too cold and wet to go out and do stuff that's indoors.
Oh, speaking of which, too, guys, we are also looking into if it's going to be worth it or not, into setting up a better streaming internet service for the shows. We've had a lot of good feedback with the shows. Right now, the only problem right now is going to be Kalamazoo, and that's because like it's just a big metal building.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think even regardless, I think we're just gonna probably stream that until it messes up, and we'll be like, sorry. We'll be at Lapeer Saturday. We'll be streaming live over there, and they have internet.
We can get signal.
Well, they have internet connection over there.
Oh, do they? Okay.
Yeah, I already talked to Chris. So they do have internet connection over there, so we won't be lagging, nothing like that. We'll be good to go. It'll be a fun time. It's actually a really small show, but we did really well there. First time they ever did it. Yeah.
Actually, I think I sold a snake there that day too.
Yeah.
I think.
So that was a good time. Any other tips or clues, Will, with the expos? Any do's, don'ts? Anything you've noticed? Are the stickers worth it? Business cards, dots?
Yeah, I like the dot better.
They don't take
because of what something you said, like Glenn, when they scan it or tap it, it puts it right there in front of them, all of them. They don't have to type it into in 3 or 4 different places. It brings you can put your Instagram, your YouTube, your Facebook, your Morph Market, multiple websites for you. You can bring and when they scan or tap that, it brings all of those up. All they got to do is accept it, and it gives them all of your info like that. It'll have your email, your phone number, all that stuff, that whatever you put into the card.
You gotta think. Yeah, you gotta think so too, because cards are expensive. That adds up when kids just grab them and stuff.
Yeah, that's why we went that way. Is because you got tired of kids grabbing 5 and 6, 7, 10, and you find them laying all over the floor at the end of the show. That's just throwing money on the floor for somebody
pretty
else
much
to pick up. Like, so I get away. I'm probably going to order some because I like to give them out when someone buys a snake, along with my stickers with the receipt. That way they have it all. Even if they scan it, even if they pick up one themselves, that's just something I give. Whenever I give the receipt, I give them a business card, one of each of the stickers I have, and the receipt all at once, and then tell them, the spiel of, basically how to take care of it for the most part. They need a hot spot of around 90, at least 88, preferably 90 degrees. Get it home, set it up, put it in a setup, leave it alone for 2 or 3 days. Don't mess with it. Just let it do its thing. Get acclimated to its new enclosure.
Quarantine.
And then on your next feed cycle, if they have reptiles or anything else that they're feeding weekly or bi-weekly like that, that's when you go and try to feed that animal. That way it gives it time to get acclimated to its surroundings, its enclosure, its tank, whatever you want to call it, whatever it happens to be in. And then it gives it a week to realize that, hey, I haven't eaten in a while. I'm hungry. It'll feel more comfortable. It'll eat better for you. And then if after that, try to feed it 2 or 3, at least after about 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. If it hasn't eaten, get a hold of me then. Don't wait for months and then tell me it's not eating. It's a lot harder to get it back on food 2 months down the road than it is 2 to 3 weeks down the road.
Or get a hold of the breeder, whoever you got the animal from.
Yeah, I'm just saying this is what I tell people.
Yeah.
For me selling a snake, that's what I tell them. That's how I tell them to do it. And so far, I haven't had anybody. I've had a few calls. It's not eating. What's the temperatures? Oh, it's 85 degrees. It's too cold. You need it to be about 90. Especially if it's someone's first reptile. That's a lot of information to take in and remember everything you tell them all at once. So they're going to forget some stuff here and there. That's why I tell them, if if it doesn't eat within the 2 weeks after that initial feeding, and the next week, if it doesn't eat, call me, email me, message me on Instagram, get a hold of me in some way through getting it back to eat. Usually it comes down to the husbandry, not hot enough, not humid enough, something along those lines. Sometimes it's just the snake is still stressed from the move. You give it that 3rd week, that 4th week, and then it starts eating. I just had somebody just this week message me asking if it was mainly a live eater, and I messaged him back because I didn't remember off the top of my head what snake they bought. And then she messaged me back on Instagram, said, never mind, it's eating. So sometimes you just got to give it the time. Like some snakes don't necessarily eat every week or every 2 weeks. They, if you feed them a medium and it's a adult ball python, just into adulthood, it's probably not going to eat for 2 weeks because it's full. You got to give it time to digest that food. It's digesting a medium rat takes longer than digesting a small or a pup or whatever, So you got to give them a little bit of time.
All right, do we have any more questions about the expo stuff before we get this underway? We're at the hour mark. Don't forget, real quick, Morph ID Wednesday is next Wednesday. Looking forward to that. That'll be a fun one. And then we'll be off for a little bit. So think about your questions real quick. If you guys have any for Will real quick, we'll roll the Morph ID one. I said the date's a little wrong, but that's okay. Next Wednesday, the 3rd. Button happy.
I was like, rolling into it again.
Button happy. Oops. I like to personally thank anyone that's tuned into this. Will, you got anything last thing to say real quick?
If you have any ideas of what to do on these Wednesdays for the times that we can't get people to come on, definitely leave them in the chat. You can message me on Instagram. You can message Glenn, Carr, any of us, and because we have a Facebook group that we all talk in.
They're trying to run this. Yeah, this is 100% group effort of us all putting this together. So if you have any ideas for Will, we're gonna try to get some people on.
I thought we had I had one person scheduled, but he backed out.
Yep.
And then I thought we had another breeder.
Yep. Yep.
But I messaged him, I've emailed him, I haven't got any response back. And then
we had to improvise with this.
Yeah, so I had this set and ready to go in the back of my head of what to do, because this is for first time vendors. This is a good thing to know. Going into it, if you know this, if you take, and like I said, a tablecloth, something to house the animals so they can be seen and they can be labeled and priced. And that's about all you really need.
Yep.
Minimum. Everything else is just to make your life a little bit easier standing there for 8 hours in an 8-foot spot.
Go for your look first, though. Like, look really as the better. I will say I did notice real quick before we end this. When me and Will both went more professional look, like how we do now, the foot traffic to our table increased a lot, and then we started getting our sales, and people just say how good our setup looks now. So I'm like, well, I mean, it's like, thank you. Like, it came a very long way. Like, it means a lot to us. Because we always, every expo, I think hey, I remember when we started off like this,
Yeah, and be engaging to people.
Yeah,
that you have to. That's going to change. That'll be beneficial to you 100-fold. Just be engaging. Be happy.
Support the expos that you guys are going to. Like, share their information. Like, we try to do that as much as we can. Share their links. Share all that, because
I'm horrible at that because I don't know.
I mean, yeah. but you know, it's awesome because you keep going to these and you get your name out there. And the one expo or whatever, I was like, oh man, I was like, this was a 2-day expo. I forgot to sign up for it. And like, oh, it's all right. We always got a spot for you guys or whatever. So I mean, like that's the respect and the loyalty, you know, that the friendships that you guys build and stuff too. Like, you know, it's awesome. So, it's that next Wednesday will be the next podcast. We'll be live Saturday, guys.
Can't believe
Peace
it's
out.
already-
Been real.